Transplant Talk with Shonda, Thursday, 7 p.m. on Facebook Live and YouTube.
Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Transplant Talk with Shonda. I am your hostess with the mostest. How y'all doing? Okay, everyone. Today on Transplant Talk with Shonda, we will have a very special guest. Her name is Miss Shechinah. I call her Glory Butler, and we also have Miss Jessica. I'm always saying her name wrong. Shelbler. That's why I just call her Miss Jessica because I mess up her name or I mispronounce it. But we have again come together with Life Quest to bring you more important stories about people who have received a life-saving transplant. So today, right here in Jacksonville, Florida, we have Shechinah. We have Shechinah Butler, and she is going to tell us her story about being a baby receiving a life-saving transplant. I know that is amazing, right? And so she's a liver recipient as a toddler, as a baby, she received this. And so we will give you some helpful tips, some helpful information, and things that you need to know pertaining to organ donation, especially this month. It is the National Minority Donor Awareness Month. Okay? To make sure, National Minority Donor Awareness Month. And so that is what we've been doing all month. I don't know if you all have seen the special guest that I had from weeks prior to Mr. Chelsea and also Miss Strong. So they came and gave us a wonderful a testimony of what they've been through. And so today we just have, we have one more. So joining us today, I'm about to bring her on, is Shechinah Glory. But I wanted to remind you all that Transplant Talk is about bringing awareness for people that either need a life-saving transplant, has had a life-saving transplant, or the donor family is keeping the memory and legacy of that donor alive. So now, without any further ado, we're going to bring these two very special guests on the screen. One second. Hello, Shechinah.
Hey,
How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. So good to see you. And I'm going to bring on Miss Jessica. Hello, Jessica.
Hello.
Oh, it worked. It worked. Listen, we were praying that technology is in our favor. We were praying for this blessing for all of us to be on the screen and be able to hear and speak to each other. So I want to, first of all, thank you all for including Transplant Talk to be a part of the National Minority Donor Awareness Month, Jessica, and Shechinah for saying yes, to sharing your story about, becoming a recipient, So Shechinah, we're going to start off with you. Give us a little bit of background about you. Who is Shechinah?
Oh, okay.
Loaded question.
Yes, I'm a lot of things.
Yes, you are. Come on, sis. Yes, you are.
Well, first and foremost, I am a proud liver recipient at the age of 1. So my story is my knowledge of my story is a little bit different because I don't remember. I can only go based off what I was told.
Right.
I'm 20. How old am I? I'm 27. I'll be 28 next month. So I'll be 27 years post-transplant in September.
Wow. So I'm gonna stop you right there. Because what do you say? What do you say to people? We always hear that, nobody want to be an organ donor. Nobody needs my, no one needs my organs. I'm not going to become an organ donor. What do you say to those people? Which you are living proof at 1 year
Yeah.
old that you can, and they do.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I tell people. I use myself as an example.
Always, always. Yeah, I just people. I guess um, people don't understand how serious this is until
It
it's
happens.
knocking at that door at their
Mhm.
personal, personally. They finally learn someone that is in need of a transplant, or they become that person that is in need of a transplant, and then
Mhm.
all bets are off. Whatever I could do to save my life, that's what I'm going to do. And I don't think it should take all of that. I don't think it shouldn't have to, be so stressful for someone to just simply say on my driver's license, I'll be an organ donor. We're
Yeah.
not trying to take it right now, but
No.
we'll do that, you know. But for the most part, a lot of people don't know that you can receive half of a liver and it would
Yeah.
regenerate. How did you learn of that? How did how when you received that information or that education, how did you receive that?
I think once I got like a little old enough, I just started asking my mom questions
Mhm.
because it's not something that we really like talked about. I just knew it's normal. To me, it was normal. But then I
No,
was like,
okay.
oh, maybe this, not everybody has this. So maybe this is a little different.
Mhm,
Not
mhm,
everybody needed what I needed at that point
mhm.
in time. So I just kind of did my own research, and I think I was in the seventh grade. I think I asked the most when I was in, no, that was the sixth grade. I was in the sixth grade and I was in health class, and we did a project on like different organs.
Okay.
And then me and my group, I told them like we should do the liver, and I kind of told them a little bit about my story. And I knew my
Mhm.
mom had some old paperwork, so I just started reading through some old paperwork I had.
Oh
So that's kind
wow.
of how I learned a lot at
Okay.
that point in time. Got an A on
Mhm.
that paper too. Um,
Of course. It was about you. Hello.
yeah, we got an A on that project. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I learned myself doing research about it.
Mhm.
And I don't think I started doing more research again till I got a little older after that.
Okay. Well, growing up, did you feel any different? Did you feel special? Did they treat you differently
Uh, my
up until the age that you
family,
can remember?
no, my family didn't treat me different, so to speak, from what I can remember. But I mean, I know at the time when it was happening, they were treating me like a little, but I was a baby. You treat every baby kind of delicate.
Delicate.
But I guess
Yeah.
I was like an extra delicate because I had a lot of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in school, uh, no, because nobody really knew. It's not something that I can showcase. I'm not
Broadcast.
walking around with my shirt lifted up,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
showcasing it or telling people. The
Mm-hmm.
only time people would know is if I would go to things and I would like where I have to be near water
Mm-hmm.
and I would wear a two piece
Mm-hmm.
and then you can see it. But it took me a while to get into the two piece era because I was aware of the scar and I didn't want
Mm-hmm.
people asking me questions because
Okay.
I wasn't fully understanding of how to answer people's questions if they asked me.
Okay.
But after a while, I just didn't care. Even though I was little, I just didn't care about, like, I would answer it and then answer it the best way I could to my like 12-year-old mind could answer.
Right.
So I think that's pretty much how I wasn't really treated different unless somebody's seen it.
Okay.
Did you
So
have to take medication at all, like
that was
throughout
my
the day?
question. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, did I? I know I took it at home. I have one medication I was taking, the same medication I'm on now. I'm on one medication I'm supposed to take forever. I
Mm-hmm.
have been told that I can opt out of it, but I'm a strong believer if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right.
So I'll
Right.
just stay on it just for consciously. I just prefer to be on the medication. I think my mom said I started on, oh, I'm going to be misquoting around 15 to 20 something medications, and now I'm only on one.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. And she would be the one giving me the different medications. So she became a nurse, and that's not her field. Um, so she told me she learned her nursing skills through me.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
throughout the day, no. I think the only thing that I had to take throughout the day, which I remember was during preschool,
Hmm.
because my protein levels were low, I would just have
Hmm.
to drink Boost. And I got picked on for drinking Boost because they said that was for old people. But other than
Children.
that, no.
Children. Okay. And this is the anti-rejection medication, correct?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. May I ask? Because I know for some people the medications get very expensive. So is this an expensive medication for you?
Very much so.
Very
It is
much
very
so.
expensive. Um, but there's a pharmacy here in the city of Jacksonville, that my doctor referred me to where I can get it for free
Ooh, ooh,
with
Wow.
some type of some as long with I don't know how that works. It's some type of program, and I think they work with a lot of transplant patients where they can kind of get the medication for a discounted price, so to
mm-hmm.
speak. So as long as I keep that code up to date, I can get my medication. Now I don't get as much like as I usually get, but I get enough for at least 90 days. I usually get a couple bottles at a time, but it's only one bottle at a time. But
Okay.
I'll take it since it's free.
Yeah,
Hello.
absolutely. That's incredible.
Of course. We need to find out that pharmacist and see because it might be beneficial. I
It's
don't know. We don't
Osteen's Pharmacy. It's
on the
on,
west side.
yeah, no, like Northwest, I guess you could say, near Paxton Middle High School. Not
Okay.
too. It's
So
down there
I'm familiar.
somewhere.
I'm very familiar with that pharmacy because when we were told for my late husband that his medication was like $1,500, he
Hmm.
received the medications from there, but it wasn't for free. But it wasn't $1,500. We might have had to pay
Yeah,
40 or $50.
yeah. I think my insurance kind of covers some of it, and then that's
Hmm.
how the rest of it is
Yeah,
where it is now.
Osteen's Pharmacy was a godsend to us, and they really did bless us in a mighty way with helping with medication, and it wasn't even a full 30-day supply. It was maybe 5 days, and it
Hmm.
was $1,500. And I really do believe something needs to happen because people should not have to decide on if I'm going to feed my family, keep my lights on, save my life. If those are really critical decisions that you have to make
Hmm.
as a transplant recipient, and people shouldn't have to pay all of that money for to live. I that's just me because if I don't know. We had to make the decision. We found by any means necessary to get him a discount on that medication. But when I was
Yeah.
told by the pharmacist at Walgreens that it was $1,500, I almost went through the roof. Maybe they didn't see the car that I was driving in. It was not a Rolls Royce. It was not any of those, specialty cars. That was not
Hmm.
in our budget. Um, but they really did a great job. So I am forever grateful for Osteen's for doing that. And shout out to them. If y'all in Jacksonville, y'all need that kind of pharmacist, I talk to your doctor about Osteen's, and it's
Yeah.
worth the drive. It is worth the drive, but they were very, very kind. So I'm grateful to them. So Jessica, did you have questions? Did you have any questions?
Yeah, I didn't ever know, did you talk to the donor family ever, or did your mom?
No.
It has
Did
been
you ever
so
have
long.
interest in knowing at all, or?
I did at a time. But I don't, from my understanding, they didn't want to, from what
Oh.
I was told. So I
Mhm.
kind of just left it alone.
Yeah, because I figured since you were so young, that would mean the donor would also be very young. So I can see
Yeah.
that being really hard for the family.
Yeah.
Right. But when we did the interview before, your surgery actually took place down in Miami.
Yeah, they weren't doing transplants on kids, I believe, up here yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to be flown down there.
Yeah, to Miami Jackson Memorial.
Yeah, Jackson Memorial.
Jackson Memorial Hospital. And again, anytime that you are a caregiver for someone, that caregiver is always instantly a doctor or a nurse to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only imagine how scary it was for your mom with her little baby and having to make sure that this medication is there or the bandages are, on correctly. Will the baby pull it off? All of these different
Yeah,
concerns you have, you know.
apparently, when I think after my surgery, my grandmother and my aunt drove down to Miami because while my mom was there for my surgery, she stayed down there. We stayed down there for a couple of months. I had a cousin that lives down there, so she stayed with her. She was in the Ronald McDonald for a minute, but she didn't like it there, so we found out we had a cousin there. Um,
Okay.
apparently after my surgery, when my grandmother and my aunt came to see, I was pulling everything off. So that's how they knew I was okay because I was in there pulling everything off.
Mhm. So how
Were
old?
your
Okay, go ahead.
parents,
Oh,
like your aunt and your mom and everyone, were they already organ donors prior to you getting sick?
I know they got tested once they found out to see
Mhm.
if they could donate. Um, I don't think any of them matched because I forgot my blood type, but it's rare. It's one of the
But were
rare
they
ones.
already registered organ donors? Like, were they
Not to my
for organ
knowledge.
donation or?
Not to my knowledge, no. I think they were just gonna try it and do it if they could.
But they're organ donors now, right? They see the
Wow.
power.
I don't think they are. To be honest, I don't think they are. No, I
Wow.
don't know. I never really asked. I didn't
Okay.
learn that they had gotten tested until like a year or so ago. And my
Oh,
grandmother's passed on, and I just didn't ask my aunt.
okay. Wow. Okay. So now, moving forward, and again, you and my daughter are the same age, born in the same month. I think. Well, she's on the 16th, and you're
The
on
12th.
the 12th. So yeah, we were having babies kind of like at the same time. What has been your what have you been doing? Because I know you also have a podcast. So what have you been doing to bring awareness to organ donation, especially for the people in your youth, in your age group? How are
Mhm.
you helping? Shout out to your podcast.
Oh, thank you. It's on hiatus right now. I got a lot going on.
I understand,
So
understand.
so my podcast is one of like the biggest things for me right now. I mean, it's still on air. I just haven't done any new episodes of me not only just bringing awareness to my own story. That's what I did. My very first episode on was my own story, and that took a lot out of me to sit there
Oh,
and
wow.
talk to myself about myself
Okay,
because
okay.
it's all audio. I'm not really big on video, so I did all my podcasts is all audio. Um, but bringing awareness to like a lot of different things
Mhm.
that we deal with. I know I had you on there to talk
Yeah.
about organ donation.
Hmm.
Um, I've had people come on there and talk about infertility and mental health, single moms. I've had that on there. Just different topics that we rarely talk about. Lupus, Crohn's disease, just anything I can think of that I know that we don't really know too much about. We see the
Hmm.
commercials, about the medications for it, but we don't really know what the medication is actually for. So
Right.
just different stuff like that and bringing awareness, and then being a part of Life Quest has been helpful for me to just not spread the word, but to kind of understand what I'm spreading the word about, because I'm only
Mm-hmm.
going off of what I Google or
Mm-hmm.
what I personally know. But Life Quest has been very helpful in keeping me very informed on things. I was like, oh, I didn't even know that about my own self. That's crazy. So that's kind of how I've been spreading the message. And if people ask me, or when I meet people and I spread awareness about my podcast, I kind of talk about my story a little bit. It's helped me talk about it, because it's
Mm-hmm.
not something I really talked about until like later in college, that I was fully comfortable telling people,
Mm-hmm.
because I had roommates and friends by then. So like I'm changing in my room and they see the scar. So it's like, oh, what happened? And then I was like, oh, okay. I probably figured I'd have to tell somebody eventually. They're
Mm-hmm.
thinking somebody that cut me open. Like, no, I'm okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Well, I think that's good. You had to really peel back the layers
hmm
of you and in your life to be able to open up to people. And I know sometimes that really cannot be easy. So kudos to you
Thank
for
you.
finally stepping into who you are and the purpose in your life, because people don't believe it until they see it, you
hmm
know. And congratulations to you and all of your success. Let's not forget about that. You were
Thank
able
you.
to just recently, congratulations, go back and get another degree, a master's
Oh, yes,
degree
I
at
did.
that. So for people that's thinking my life is over because I received a life-saving transplant, don't think that. Do not think that you are not limited because you received a life-saving transplant. I've had people to even say, look, I've had another child, so that is very possible. Your life does not stop. A
hmm
transplant affords you the opportunity to extend your life, a little longer. It's not the cure all, it's not a cure, it's not the end
Yeah.
all be all. But look what happened because this family said yes, and Shechinah's here, and she is, she's been to college. She's a part of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, along with myself. So she is my sorority sister as well. And she went to college, she graduated, she just received a degree, and she has some other things that's coming along in the future. So please don't ever stop, Shechinah. Just keep going. Never ever stop doing what you are supposed to do. And I know you're going to keep shining and
Thank
and
you.
spreading the word about organ donation. We even shared the same platforms together, not just on her podcast, but we've been to different events here
hmm
in Jacksonville, letting people know, oh God, letting people know the importance of organ donation. She was even there with my friend Derek, who passed away in March. And he's not here, but she's here to continue to spread the word. And life is good. Life is definitely good. So I'm going to ask you this again,
Okay.
Shechinah.
Okay.
What would you say to someone that is on the fence about becoming an organ donor?
Hmm. I'm a strong advocate in I can't tell you what to do, but I am living proof of what can happen if you do it.
That's perfectly stated. That is perfectly stated. Because of you, I am still here, and I'm a good example. I'm a walking billboard, and that you are. Jessica, do you have any other questions?
That was perfect. I want to just like give all the snaps for all of that. That was wonderful. Sometimes less words make the most impact. But just that August is National Minority Donor Awareness Month, and we're trying to bring this conversation to as many people as possible to show that one yes can be the huge difference in someone's life. And you being that living proof of I'm here 27 years later and nobody would even know. 1 pill a day. I mean, you're thriving, and it's good for both recipients to hear the length, the longevity of what can come, but also for those people on the fence to know the greatness that can come from just saying yes to something.
Yeah. And if you had a chance to meet that donor family, they would be so proud. They would be so proud of you and all that you're doing and all that you will become. So I'm so grateful for their yes and your yes for being on the show again.
You're welcome.
I'm so grateful. So do you have any last words, Shechinah or Jessica?
No, just follow Concealed Scars. The podcast, it's on all platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. It's on Instagram. I haven't gotten to Facebook yet, but I'm working on more stuff. Once I get some other things under control, I'll be back at doing my episodes.
Awesome. I mean, and you all make sure that you all hear the information recorded or write it down, because you might need her to come on and also be a person at a speaking event as well. And she does those quite well. So until the next time, if there's no other.
Well, if you need to find more information about organ donation, you can go to donatelifeflorida.org and go there to register or just to learn more about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So until next time, our good people, God bless you. Be kind to one another. Become an organ donor. And until next time, God bless you all. Stay right there.
I need just one more day, just one more hour to speak the truth to power. Life's not that long, just a few short hours. So make each minute count, make every second better. Just give me one more day to get it right. I need just one more day. Transplant Talk with Shechinah, Thursday, 7 p.m. on Facebook Live and YouTube.